Well, artificial intelligence has been a dominant theme in the stock market for a couple of years now, with giants like Alphabet, Meta Platforms, and Microsoft spending billions and billions of dollars to scale up their AI capabilities. And now it's a big priority for the government of Canada. Not long ago, Prime Minister Mark Carney named the country's first Minister of Artificial Intelligence and Digital Innovation. We're now delighted to be joined by that minister, Evan Solomon. He joins us right now. He's in Toronto. Minister Solomon, thanks a lot for joining us. This is a big, big task that you have been handed by the Prime Minister. How do you even get the ball rolling on this? And I guess more to the point, where do you want to see the country 4 years from now?
Well, first of all, great to see you. We are not late to the party. We were first to the party. Let's be clear. Canada launched its national AI strategy back in 2018. So this is something in terms of AI and quantum where Canada has been and continues to be a world leader. We are world leaders in research. We have funded three of the great AI institutes. You've got Vector here in Toronto. You've got Mila in Montreal. You've got Amy in Edmonton. These all have some of the world leading. Jeffrey Hinton, Nobel Prize and Turing Prize winner in Vector. Joshua Bengio, world leading Turing Prize winner at Mila. And of course, Rich Sutton at Amy, also a Turing Prize winner. So from a research standpoint, we are ahead. Now, where do we want to go? Our mission is critical. We need to make sure that Canada reaches AI sovereignty, sovereign data centers, sovereign cloud. And what does that mean? That doesn't mean solitude. It means that we're still going to partnership. Sovereignty doesn't mean solitude, but it means we've got to do four things very urgently because we are in a twin crisis, a geopolitical crisis, but also a moment of opportunity where we have a technological paradigm shift. AI is radically redesigning our economy. So we've got to scale our businesses and our champions. We've got to drive adoption, and we had some big announcements of that this week here in Tech Week, to make sure companies are using AI productively to create jobs. We've got to build trust through light, tight, and right regulation to protect Canadians' data and privacy. And then we've got to build our secure and sovereign capabilities with sovereign cloud and sovereign data center. So those are a big task, but if we're either going to be part of the bulldozer or part of the road. So we've got to lead on this, and we are. So we've taken a leadership position. We've got over $2 billion allocated to develop compute. Just yesterday, and this is important, to make sure that small, medium-sized businesses, which are 99% of our economy, businesses under 500, have access to compute to solve problems. It's expensive. Those are those NVIDIA chips and other chips. We opened yesterday something called the Compute Access Fund, a $300 million fund that closes at the end of July, that will give small, medium-sized businesses between $100,000 and $5 million to get access to compute to help solve issues. So driving productivity is absolutely vital to build the economy of the future.
Where is the compute, or where will it be? In other words, when are we going to see big data centers here in Canada? We see visual images of those data centers being built in the US, among other places. They are gigantic facilities, and we hear about the sums of money that those companies I just mentioned, the giants of the tech world, are spending on building and expanding those data centers. How do you encourage the development or facilitate the development and construction of those data centers?
Well, let's just be clear. We're building a lot of data centers, and we have built a lot of data centers in Canada, and we have lots of announcements all the time. The question is scale, scope, and speed, okay? So what you're measuring against in the United States is you're seeing hundreds of billions of dollars all over the world building data centers that are 1 and 2 gigawatt size. So those are really, to build a gigawatt size, and so folks appreciate that's how you measure the size of a data center, the power usage. Energy is a big part of this equation, and Canada's got a lot of it. Between $20 and $30 billion to build a gig, okay? It's a lot of money. We, of course, are building lots of megawatt data centers all the time, but we are partnering with other countries to be building these big gigawatt centers. Some of the constraints all over the world are energy. Canada is blessed to have an abundance of energy. And I've worked very closely with Minister Hodgson in natural resources. And the Prime Minister is urgently making sure, when he talks about nation-building projects, making sure we have the energy infrastructure and the energy corridors to support these data centers is absolutely vital. But again, I'll give you an example. Out of our compute fund, which is a $700 million fund that we launched already, $240 million went to a national champion called Cohere, an incredible sovereign developer. And that part of that will be to build a big data center here. So we're doing that. It's very important. But you're not wrong to say that we have got to get in the game, build partnerships, unlock capital to do just that.
What's your message to Canadians who are worried that AI will steal their jobs? I know young people, you may know young people as well, who are just entering the workforce now, and they are, I think, justifiably worried about their future as, for instance, a rookie computer coder who's just finished 4 years of university learning how to code, and they're worried now that AI will take that job away.
Look, this is a great question, and it's a profoundly important one, but let's just step back from the fear that this will cost jobs or the, too much confetti. Every technology revolution, and we are in a Gutenberg moment here, okay? This is a radical transformation of our economy with this powerful technology that is AI, and it is reshaping our economy. So two things will happen. Yes, businesses are going to make changes, and there's going to be genuine concerns about workforce displacement that we are talking about and dealing with in a number of ways. One, an educated workforce. Today, I'll give you an example. Today, we were in Toronto at the Toronto Regional Board of Trade, and we'd invested $2.4 million. They co-invested to make sure that small, medium-sized businesses have training, mentorship, and use cases for AI. Why? So these businesses can adopt it, but make sure that their workforces are using it in a way so they can upskill. So on one side, AI is creating new jobs. If folks came to Tech Week here in Toronto, they would have seen more innovation, more entrepreneurs, and more jobs being created in a new way than we have seen in generations. That is the economy of the future. But we need to make sure our workforce is educated and skilled to make sure that they can use these tools in productive ways. Our goal is to make sure that AI serves Canadians. Canadians are not here to serve AI. It is a tool to build a sovereign, safe, prosperous economy. That's the key. And, we should be very careful. We should be prudent in understanding the impact of AI. But we should not approach it from a fear-based point of view. We have to both embrace the innovation, embrace the opportunity, but mitigate against negative consequences. And by the way, it's not just AI. We've been dealing with some of the unanticipated consequences of digital technology with mis and disinformation before. These are real issues. Governments all around the world are working on the right regulatory structure, as we will. I will just say our key goal is to protect Canadians' privacy and protect Canadians' data while we are building this economy. So it's a real question, but I really want to make sure that folks appreciate that AI is creating jobs and creating opportunity, and that to mitigate any other dislocation, workforce education, training, and exposure is critical.
Okay, last question. We are running tight on time. Regulation. You're already catching some criticism from observers of all this who say you are positioning the government to be too light, too easy on regulation. I think you used the phrase light and right regulation in this very conversation. You've also mentioned Geoffrey Hinton. He has told the press recently, this stuff needs regulating. He, i.e. Minister Evan Sullivan, will get a lot of pressure from industry not to do it, but it's potentially very dangerous. So where do you come down on regulating AI?
First of all, great question. I'm meeting Geoffrey Hinton later today. I've met with Yoshua Bengio. I've met with Rich Sutton this morning. These are all the godfathers of AI, and they're Nobel Prize winners, Turing Prize winners. Remember, Dr. Hinton's point is a real one, and it's an important one. He also said that one of the dangers is companies are not adopting technology and AI fast enough. So, Dr. Hinton appreciates the need to use and adopt. And if you look in another press, he says we need to make sure we adopt at a quicker rate, but he's also concerned about the negative consequences of AI. Those are real questions. We have funded with a $50 million fund with the Canadian AI Safety Institute to work on that. We're funding Joshua Bengio and his attempt to develop an AI to regulate AI called Law Zero. So this is really important, but we've got to find that balance between protecting privacy and data and not strangling innovation. And I appreciate what Dr. Hinton says. The industry appreciates, but we are here. Our mandate is to build, and we are going to build, but not at the expense of safety and not at the expense of privacy in a responsible manner. And I think that's what our economy needs, and that's why we're pushing forward on light, tight, and right regulation. But Canada can't do that alone. We've got to work in conjunction with our partners in Europe and around the world, and that's exactly what we're doing.